Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am Seetal and you're watching Seetal MD. In today's video, I'm unleashing a bit of my creativity. So I need some pictures or wall art in my living space. However, I'm not willing to spend that much money on art. And if you haven't already heard about Anthropologie, it's this really nice designer pieces that they sell. They sell anything from like furniture to clothing, and it's really one of a kind designs. But if you look up their designs, it's not hard to dupe them. So in this video, we're going to dupe some arts from them and make expensive looking wall art. So without wasting any more time, let's get on with it. If you're new to my channel, then hi, my name is Seetal. I'm a former medical doctor. I quit my job not just to do YouTube channels, but really in pursuit of my passion for many things that I have in life. And there is no better way to start a new life than to quit your previous life. Now, a medical job is not something that's easy to quit, but it took a lot of guts and balls on my part, but I did it in hopes to find my passion in life, and one of them is being creative. So I hope you enjoy this video. If you do like this video, please give it a thumbs up and also subscribe down below if you'd like to follow me on more of my passion and my adventures. Without wasting any more time, let's get started with today's video. Okay, so we're calling project number 1 Project Japanese Kanji. I found this thrifted puzzle board that was stuck on the puzzle back from the early 90s, and it had a really good sturdy frame from the thrift store. And although I got it for $10, this is like as cheap as you can get in Australia because the thrift stores here are also expensive. This is not America. Anyway, so I went on and cleaned all the grime of it with a special cleaner that is very good in removing goo and anything sticky. And I also went over again to clean the whole thing again with just a normal cleaner because I wanted to make sure that my surface was absolutely clean so that the paint went on really nicely. I used the Annie Sloan white chalk paint. Now this is the first time I've actually ever used Annie Sloan paint, and I must say it is so amazing. I used a white brush to paint over this using the Annie Sloan paint, and I just went on to paint it, and I must say the paint is so heavily pigmented. It went on like all I would need is one coat of paint. However, I did do a very thin layer, and then the second layer that I painted on was a watered down paint on a ratio of 1:1 with water, because if I did the paint 2 coats, I was afraid that I might actually fill in the holes of the puzzle, which I didn't really want. As an after effect, I kind of really want to see the lines of the puzzle. So just paint the whole thing white, and then I also paint the frames white. And here's me doing the second coat with the watered down ratio 1:1 paint, and as you can see, it just covers up everything perfectly because this paint is really so heavily pigmented. I think it's better than the Rust-Oleum in my opinion. Next, I took out my inspiration. Now, I know in Anthropologie, there are a lot of other designs that they do by hand, sort of to make it handmade. I can't really find one in this exact one, but I did find one that looks like a crown. But I really wanted, somewhere in my living space where I write the word mindfulness without actually writing it in English, because if you have a writing like a picture, it's sort of very distracting. I feel like it just takes away the whole minimalism aspect of it, and then it's like too many letters. But I googled the word mindfulness in Japanese kanji, and this is what I found. So I just drew this on, colored this on with the same brush that I used to paint the board white, using acrylic back paint, and I must say I'm so happy with how it looks. It looks so good, so minimal, and it goes so well in my living room. And you can still see the puzzle. Like if you look closely, you can still see the lines of the puzzle behind it. So I love how it looks just so raw and so minimal. That is so me. Okay, so for project number 2, we're calling it the Vintage Abstract. Now, I pulled some inspiration from Anthropologie, but what I got this time was a feeling of that I wanted something minimal. And yet, because this picture, was drawn a very long time ago, I kind of like the trees. I just don't like the men standing there with the lumber, because it just looks like a cremation spot. So I don't think that that's very nice to put in your living room, but I do like the trees in this. So the first thing I did was, of course, remove all the paper and then tear out all the loose paper that was at the back. And of course, I definitely recommend giving it a clean with the grime remover, and go again over it 2 or 3 times, as much as you need, to remove every single evidence of DNA that there was on this in the past. Yep, that is what I mean. We need to get that off. I'm going to go for a dip dye sort of effect, like I just dipped the entire painting in paint. So the first thing you need to do is I went over and put masking tape, or just any type of tape you have for painting, painter's tape, and I used Rust-Oleum chalk paint to paint over the entire thing. Now the Rust-Oleum chalk paint is not as thick as the Annie Sloan chalk paint, so I did use a good 2 coats for this one, not watered down, and again just paint over it like you normally would. And I didn't really take care to like sort of go over it really nicely, sand it down or anything like that, because I really wanted a raw effect. And then once I removed that masking tape, next thing I wanted to do was, you can see some bleeding around here and there, but I really don't care, because I really wanted this whole thing to look kind of raw. So then I went over the tape again, but this time I covered the top line, the top yellow line, and then I wanted to do like another thin strip of maybe pink to bring out, I do have some pink cushions in the living room, and I kind of wanted to bring out that pop of pink, so I thought it would look really nice. But when I first tried to paint this area with my acrylic paint, because I didn't have any chalk paint, so I used acrylic paint, it kind of looked very dark, and the paint was not sort of striking in its color, and I thought I had to do so many layers before I got to the actual pink that I wanted. So I wiped down that pink, and then I went over with the Annie Sloan chalk paint that I had from picture number 1, and then I painted that, let it dry, and then I painted the pink over that, which obviously, as you can see here, went on really nicely. So I guess the white paint acts like a primer, like you would paint a wall. It's always better to paint a lighter color on an even lighter color, so that you get the actual effect of it. So I absolutely love this pink color. It's so beautiful, and I'm pretty sure it will make this painting pop when it's done. And there you go, that's the finished product. So you can still see some bleeding on the side of the paint of the frame, where the frame is, but you know what, I really don't mind. I love how it looks. It looks so raw, and it's like, what is this painting? What is this meant to be? So it'll be like a really nice conversation piece in our living room. And moving on to the last DIY, we're calling this the Ropey project. I am so excited to do this one. I thought it looked really nice and very minimal. So, and I think I had the supply. This is the inspiration that I got from Anthropologie. Now, I'm not sure if they actually used rope here, or they might have even used like one of those wood glues that, or glue that just dries hard. I used Bondcrete by Bondol, where I actually just really picked up whatever I had lying around the house. I didn't go out to buy any special glue. But if I could do this again, I would say glue gun works really well, because when you use glue gun to stick the rope on to the canvas, it would just stick immediately, whereas with this one I kind of had to like keep pressing to make sure it didn't move too much away from where I wanted it to be. And also for the canvas, if you know me already, I would do whatever I can to get a cheap canvas. This canvas, if I had to buy this in Australia, it would cost me like $50, but instead of doing that, I had this canvas given to me by a friend of mine for my child's bedroom, and he didn't really like it anymore, so I painted over the entire canvas with Annie Sloan's white chalk paint, and then I went over the whole thing with my art. And of course, because as I said, if you use glue gun it would be so much easier, but I had to use like every heavy book that I had in my house to kind of put over the rope so that it would dry while it's sticking to the to the canvas. And this was, I guess, a very good opportunity for me to bring out and actually use all my fashion books. Also, while you're doing this, make sure to kind of wipe out any other excess glue that on the sides that you have, because I wasn't really sure at this point if this glue would sort of dry like wood glue, and then kind of it would be when wood glue dries, it sort of just has that lump and it doesn't just dry like clean. So always remember to wipe off excess glue, because you don't want any lumps and bumps when you're going to paint over this. So the first thing I did was use the Annie Sloan white chalk plane, which was watered down on a 1:1 ratio, because if it's watered down it would get into the fabric of the rope better, so I think. And I just painted that all over on all the ropes, and then I went over the entire painting again with a bigger brush using the same watered down paint, and I think it turned out really good. But when I went on with the bigger brush, I made sure to kind of paint into all the crevices so that the crevices would not look like they had holes going through them, so it'd just be all really nice and smooth. And this is how it turned out. I am so happy with it. I especially love that squiggly part on the top of it. It looks so good in my living room. Like, I can't wait to bring in more painting, more DIYs that I do myself and put everything together. It is so amazing. Well, there you go. All 3 designs, and I absolutely love it, one of which is of course hanging here behind me. I really like how it turned out. It's very raw, it's very me, and it's minimal, and it's just not too messy, and really it took me less than a day to do this whole thing. So if I can do it, you can definitely do it, because I'm not a professional DIYer or professional arts person. So if you're new to my channel, please subscribe below, hit the like button if you like this video, share it with your friends and family, and of course leave me a comment. I love reading your comments and I love listening to what you have to say. And if you have any ideas for me, or you'd like me to do something that you'd like to see in the future, do comment below and I might do it in my next video. Thank you for watching. With that said, I'll see you again this week. Bye.